Phil Murphy said it. Robin Hood in reverse. You're taking from the poor and giving to the rich. $1.5 trillion. The most massive tax cut in the history of our country. But to the billionaires. That is the difference. That motivation that we talked about. But here in New Jersey, the exact opposite. We have together with us today the trio of leadership that's going to lead New Jersey into the next decade. And they're going to do what's right. They're going to raise wages. It's an American issue. We need to do what's right, not only here in New Jersey, but in D.C. See, here in America, if you work hard, you follow the rules, you're supposed to be able to make it. But that's not the case today. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. $7.25. Here in New Jersey, it's $8.44. You work either minimum wage, you are living in poverty. Living in poverty. So, we look at what we can do as New Jersey, as the United States. But first, let's look at what Congress hasn't done. It's been a decade, 10 years, since there was a vote to raise the minimum wage. Think about that. 10 years. That social contract that we grew up with. You work hard, you follow the rules, you help grow the company, you share in the profits. The only profits that are being shared are the crumbs that fall off the table. The CEOs are continuing to increase their wages and compensation, while those on the lower end are literally getting screwed. Let me repeat that. The CEOs are making it and they're screwing the little guy. That social contract is gone. Billionaires, their backers, they're the ones getting the tax break. We've actually lost sight of who we're working for in this country.
We're fighting for family-sustaining wages for working families in New Jersey.
Raising the minimum wage will definitely benefit a lot of Americans, especially people who live in New Jersey.
Just heard, by the way, we have some issues in our state that are abstract. We just heard this one is not abstract. This is real as it gets. I've been asked a lot on the campaign trail from folks who didn't see it quite the same way as we all do. What's the magic about $15? And I would answer back and say, what's the magic about $8.44? Or soon to be the whopping increase to $8.60. You heard there's no magic at all. And by the way, if you do the math, $15 is hardly heroic. A 2-income household with 2 dependents at $15 an hour, working full-time, are barely at the poverty level in the 21st century definition. So we got to get there. We have to do it right. We have to do it so that we get there responsibly, but we must get there. And Donald mentioned this. This was being billed as you cut taxes, it'll flow down and it will lead to higher wages. That's just not true. It's never happened before. There's no reason to think it will happen this time. In fact, what it shows is when you cut corporate tax rates, the 2 biggest beneficiaries, as Donald said, are the chief executives and senior officers, and the other is they buy their shares back to benefit their shareholders. Do you know who's left holding the bag? The workers. That's what we're up against. So our job, I think, and I think our collective job here in New Jersey is to push back on that narrative. To stand not just in words, but in actions for that stronger, fairer economy that works for every New Jersey family, period. And a big element, top of the heap of that fairness agenda is getting the needle moved now on minimum wage. And there are lots of folks on the other side who will lead you to continue to believe that it's an us versus them. If you raise the wages, someone's going to have to pay a price for that. Do you know what actually happens? Science and fact matter, by the way. Look at the facts. You know what happens? When folks, like the folks we just heard from, get a higher minimum wage, guess what they do? They spend it. It goes immediately into the real economy. And that has a multiplier effect. So not only are you fairer, but you're actually going a long way towards strengthening the economy.
The reality is you can't starve people. You're seeing some corporations now voluntarily raising their wages for one reason, because the people that are working in the stores can't buy the product. It's not out of the gift of their heart that they're raising it. We need to ensure that we give people that go to work, as one of the workers said, they're not looking for a handout. These are people going to work every single day, working in jobs that are backbreaking, that I challenge you, many would not want to do. But they're important jobs, and they need to be respected and treated properly. So
And it seems almost simple that the rule ought to be that if you have a job and you work for a living, you ought to be able to sustain your family. But as we've heard, those are real challenges that people face.
Details of this are yet to be completely crafted, but we're born under similar stars. We see things in a very similar way in terms of the need to get stronger and fairer, and this is a big element of it.
If I can follow up on that,
No, I'm saying we gotta get Washington settled first.